My research theme is alternative strategies of visual code system, camouflage and mimicry. It consists of two main research layers. The first layer focuses on studying mimicry behavior in insects. The second layer looks at how to use these natural mimicry and camouflage strategies as design tools in visual coding. Visual code refers to a combination of basic elements, such as pixels forming an image or unified symbols, diagrams, in a standard visual system. It is an important structure in communication, but often overlooked. Camouflage and mimicry. These two words have slight differences. Camouflage refers to blurring the boundary between themselves and their environment. Mimicry refers to mimicking the form of another module. This is the background of my research. First, it originates from my reading at the beginning of this semester, Caps Lock, in Chapter 2, Designer as Engineer. It has a debate that is closely related to designers but often overlooked. Peter Rubens reviews how visual codes stitch authority and powerful together, making this association appear natural and rationalized. Unified mechanical visual coding and diagrams have become a form of scientific rhetoric. The visual codes designed by designers have become simplified mechanical tools for enforcing control, such as barcode. A contradiction arises. While these barcodes commodify everything, they are also used for newborn babies and other forms of identity verification. To what extent has this become a tool for tracking personal privacy and surveillance? Next, this topic arises from new ideas trend in today's world, such as ecofeminism, decentralization, and decolonization discourse. Coexistence replaces aggression. Camouflage as an alternative strategy is also a form of intelligence. It does not choose to attack or escape, but instead chooses defense, making itself invisible by dissolving into environment. Based on the title and research, I propose the following questions. In nature, mimicry and camouflage are collective survival strategies. In the context of social surveillance environment, how can designers use them as tools for counter-surveillance? How can they enhance the resilience of visual coding to form potential collective defense mechanisms? And this is my research context. The audience includes designers, as creators of visual content, must learn how to create counter-surveillance camouflage codes under social control. The location of the research is mainly online. The research can be seen as an alternative strategy for designers in the future, connected to the concept of transition design. In transition design, the goal is not only to solve immediate problems but also to create lasting and adaptive solutions. It emphasizes long-term systemic change to respond to a complex and uncertain future. Camouflage and mimicry as substitute solutions under social control maintain concealment and untraceability from surveillance systems. The methods used in my research include observation, literature review, case study, visual analysis, and practice-based research. Among these, the case study method is important. I also use this method in my Thursday course module. Specific cases make it easier to extract distinct and alternative characteristics. This also connects to the same theoretical framework explored in my Thursday module. Currently, I'm mainly learning from this case and reflect on how such strategies can inform graphic design within my research topic. First, I research types of insect mimicry behavior and create diagrams. These are defensive behaviors insects use when they face danger. By mimicking the module of another organism, sending a deceptive signal to their predators and to protect themselves. This behavior involves three roles: the predator, the insect, and the imitated module. These roles have inspired my thoughts on the positions of designers, controller, and audience in visual communication. Second, I learned about the fascinating prehistoric insect Calima, a species of butterfly, and its camouflage behavior. In the book Image and the Eye, Gombrich emphasized that the first image wasn't created by humans, but by the bodies of these creatures, which continually create images to disguise themselves as other things, using mimicry and camouflage to deceive other eyes. This sparked my thought: when an insect camouflages to deceive certain predators, does the insect itself become a kind of screen that carries a false image? The concept closely aligns with the definition of man-made images. Calima's precise camouflage increases its survival. The more accurate the deception, the more likely it is to avoid predation, making it more likely to reproduce and pass on its genes, creating a collective defense. For the third research subject, I turn to human groups, specifically the camouflage strategies of Tibetan nomads. Human camouflage in nature also draws from insect camouflage. Tibetan nomads have their own observational maps, adjusting their migration pace by combining personal experience with continuously observation of their surroundings. They do not control the environment, but instead manage their relationship with it. In this sense, camouflage is a dynamic boundary, a relationship between oneself and the environment. Based on the above, I have created a concept diagram that connects biological camouflage with camouflage in graphic design. The survival pressure on creatures lies in avoiding predation, and camouflage strategies prove their significance in this regard. In graphic design, how to gain discourse power under control and surveillance makes camouflage an essential defense mechanism. The common result of this in both nature and graphic design is that it enhances adaptability of the subject and forms a continuously collective protection. So I visualize the whole research into the diagram. It mainly inspired by the theory called carrier-bag theory. It's mainly about not to attack to each other, but to choose a defensive strategy and live together in the future. It's can relate it to the branch of theory of ecofeminism. And the related field combined with the theory is ecology, anthropology, and philosophy. The mimicry of insects related to the theory of the psychology of mimicry. And the graphic field I mainly focus is image studies and digital editing technology in Photoshop or other platform, and the screen. It can relate it with theory of poor image and the cultural memes theory, and a book called The Image and the Eye, written by Gombrich. And the expanded field of graphic design in the future is connected with the transition design pathway to achieve the decentralization and the decolonization discourse in future. I have explored some visual samples could be considered as visual means to express my research questions. Camouflage blurs the boundary between objects and the environment. This reminds me of image pixels, especially when zooming in infinitely, while the boundaries are often made up of noise. In contrast, the vector graphics, the boundaries of these symbols are entirely clear. In the military, camouflage clothing is made up of these pixels. The basic visual elements of camouflage provide a strong connection to this idea. This leads me into the field of graphic design in image studies. I'm fascinated by the false image presented by the human eye and screens, as well as digital editing technologies like Photoshop's clone stamp tool. To what extent do these blend the subject and environment? What purpose do the camouflage objects created by the clone stamp serve? What are they hiding? Lastly, I viewed an exhibition where players could navigate through various biological and non-biological objects experiencing survival from the first-person perspective of different species, the boundaries between species were completely dissolved. This is my reading list. I have also summarized 2 questions that I believe are worth reflecting on in my future practice. The first is about the potential of design as a tool. Does design have the potential to liberate society, or does design participation merely serve as another form of political camouflage? Well, these conflicts are not resolved but only authenticized. The second is reflection on mimicry and camouflage. Mimicry is a specific act of copy and repetition that can result in camouflage. Is camouflage a result of certain efforts made by the camouflaged body, or is it only a result in the eyes of the viewer? Can this force control the surroundings and not just the camouflaged body itself?